Welcome to Manufacturing Day 2021. I'm Bob Haight with the Chamber of Commerce here in Cortland, and we are very happy to be here with, we have 17 high schools who were participating with us today, most of them joining us live. We appreciate you being with us. I also want to say a special thanks to Intertek here in Cortland. Intertek was scheduled to be our on-site host last fall. Of course, we've had to postpone all in-person meetings, but they left their doors open to us to be able to bring this event to you today, to do it virtually, and we appreciate all of the support that we've gotten from Intertek. Also, Alternative AV has provided us with all of the technology today to be able to not only provide this to you live, but are recording this event. Each of the schools will get a link to that recording that you will have once it is uploaded to our YouTube channel. A little bit about the way you're going to see today roll out. After my brief introduction, I will introduce the team here at Intertek. They will give you a little history of the company and what they do here locally. They will also introduce a video tour that you'll be able to see. At the conclusion of that tour, we fully want to have questions that we will be posting from the high schools. So during the tour or any time ahead, or throughout the program, feel free to feed your questions to your facilitator in your room and put those into the chat section to us so we can have those questions live and answer them. I also want to tell you a little bit of a history on Manufacturing Day itself. The idea behind Manufacturing Day nationally is to introduce to our young student population the good local jobs available in manufacturing facilities. At our chamber, we've expanded that to include other non-manufacturers who also have good entry-level jobs. To that end, we have done a brief survey, and I don't expect you to be able to read this, but this is a spreadsheet that we have created. Each of your schools will get a copy of that along with the link. That spreadsheet contains 20 different local organizations, all hiring at the entry level with a qualification of at least a high school diploma. That list of 20 local facilities represents almost 300 jobs. So if you are looking to postpone college or have made a decision on your career that college is not for you, I want you to know that we have excellent options here locally. Also, each of those 20 organizations, Intertek with me being one of them, we know them personally. They're all chamber members of ours. We've worked with their management teams. You can always feel comfortable calling the Chamber of Commerce to specifically ask about one of those companies. You can do that as a high school administrator or guidance counselor, or feel free to have your students call us as well. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and introduce Byron Horak, who can talk more about Intertek. Byron is a long upstanding member of our community and has a great history with Intertek. He is currently their Director of Engineering and also their Director of Program Management. So Byron, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Bob, and welcome everybody to Intertek. We're really glad to have you here today. As Bob said, I'm Director of Engineering for the HVAC Performance Department, and I am a McGraw High School graduate. And to my left, we have Bernadette Sinclair, the Regional Manager of Human Resources, and she is a Cortland High School graduate. And to my right, we have Tim Corcoran, who is the Vice President of North America, and he graduated from Groton. So as you can see, Intertek is a company that likes to hire locally. There is lots of upward mobility in this company. You can work your way up to very fine positions. It's a great place to work, and it has great benefits. Now, your parents may know us as ETL, not as Intertek, because that was our name when we first moved here. And so I want to tell you a little bit how ETL got its start. It started way back with a really brilliant inventor called Thomas Edison. And when he invented the light bulb and started producing them, he was a smart enough guy to know that the people producing the first production light bulbs should not be the same people that are testing the first production light bulbs. So he set up a separate entity called Electrical Testing Laboratories. And that's where our name ETL came from. It still is on the front of our building. It is also our safety symbol that you're going to be able to see on the bottom of many products you buy that are electrical in just about any store. And they were in, ETL existed in upper northern New Jersey and New York City right up until 1978, when they moved from New York City to this location in Cortland. And when they moved here, they were a 60-person employee-owned company. And today, we are 300 employees strong at this location, and we are part of a much larger organization, global organization called Intertek. And Intertek has 40 locations throughout the United States, 1,000 locations around the world in 100 plus countries. I can't even name 100 countries. So we are really, truly part of a global company. And Intertek has 43,000 employees worldwide. So what we do here is we test other people's products for them. We don't produce anything. We simply take their products. We test them for either safety, as I pointed out, electrical safety, which is where you'll see the ETL label, and for performance. Does a product perform the way the manufacturer wants it to, the way it's been specified to, and does it stand up to the national standards that are written to make sure that products work correctly? And here we have 13 different departments, each with specifically trained engineers and technicians to work in their area of expertise. So it's much, much more than 13 products. It's like 13 product categories, but it really is hundreds of products that get tested here every year. So what we're going to show you next is a video of some of what we do in Cortland, not everything. So we'll switch to that video now. Thank you.
For more than 100 years, Intertek has tested products that people use and interact with every day. For more than 40 years, we've had a flagship electrical laboratory in Cortland, New York, just a quick half-hour drive south of Syracuse. In fact, it's one of the largest independent product testing facilities in the entire world. It's a direct descendant of Thomas Edison's Electrical Testing Laboratories, or ETL, and still shares the same values of hard work and innovation to this day. Speaking of Edison, let's talk about the Cortland Lab's capabilities to test lighting. It's one of Intertek's global centers of excellence, where we can test bulbs and fixtures for electrical safety, performance, and even energy efficiency, and help our clients get new products and new technologies like LEDs to market quickly. Our lab also has a long history of testing products that help to keep people safer, including first responders. We test helmets for strength and puncture resistance, and have special chambers set up to test hazmat suits to ensure people can perform their work without tearing or puncturing the suit. It's all about verifying performance. No matter what the protective equipment might be, there's a great chance you'll find the capability to test it here in Cortland. One of the great claims to fame of our Cortland lab is our extensive capability to test HVACR products. From small residential equipment to large rooftop and commercial units. Our engineers and technicians have decades of experience setting up tests to verify the performance of HVACR equipment. You get accurate data from people who know and understand the technology and rise to the occasion for any size project. Our water heater lab is a bustling area testing both electrical and gas units for safety and performance. Even for Department of Energy requirements, such as Energy Guide. For more than 50 years, we've helped manufacturers test their equipment to meet AHRI standards. At Intertek, we like to say, don't just promise performance, prove it. Our Cortland lab has the equipment and the expertise to help you do just that. Whether verifying marketing claims for your home appliances or testing to AHAM industry standards, energy efficiency requirements, or simply conducting R&D for your next-gen products. Intertek provides total quality assurance to help you develop better, safer, more competitive home appliances. Manufacturers looking to get their products ENERGY STAR certified can find a home in Cortland as we test to the latest standards and requirements for a wide range of products. From lights and ceiling fans to appliances, monitors, and television displays. We collect accurate data for our customers and provide the information they need for certification. As demand increases for renewable energy, our team is ready to help manufacturers test the safety and performance of solar panels, whether it's in our lab or even out in the field if needed, with our customized mobile PV test center. Regardless of where the testing is done, you'll always get best-in-class people and technology working on your project at all times. Ever wonder how they keep electrical products safe in a potentially explosive environment? Well, they build them a little differently and then test them in our labs so that any potential failure can be found in advance. Our experts know exactly what to look for. Our chemistry lab supports a wide array of testing with the primary focus on validating personal protective equipment against chemical permeation and penetration. Our chemists apply their expertise to ensure the protection of end users in industry, military, and hazmat response. Here in Cortland, we handle thousands of products every month. As you can imagine, we take tracking, chain of custody, and security very seriously. Our operational efficiency helps to get products in, get them ready, get them tested, and get your project completed as quickly as possible. And every now and then, we even manage to have a little fun along the way.
And thank you for that video, and it was wonderful to see all of the work, not all of the work, but at least a taste of the work that gets done right here at Intertek. And now is the time when facilitators can be typing in questions to the chat section, and we will get those to the correct people here. I will mention that each of your guidance offices has had access to this. And what it is a manufacturing catalog, and this current one that we've published features 13 different manufacturers here locally, including a great ad right here from Intertek. So those had been sent to all of the high school guidance offices. Even though they show last year's date on them, those catalogs are still completely valid. If any of the guidance offices would like additional copies, we will get them to you. Please just let us know. And feel free to give those out to students. With your blessing, if schools are allowed to travel in the fall, we do plan to have another manufacturing day in person. We'll get you more information on that as we get into the summer and know what the schools will be able to do come fall. And if that is able to happen, we will publish a new manufacturing catalog updated with new local organizations in it at that time. So at this point, questions are very welcome, but Byron, is there anything else about the video or things that you want to highlight that was showing?
Well, I think one of the things that I would like to point out that people might not realize is that when you do purchase a product in any place, Walmart or any store, and if it's electrical, look on the bottom of it. It used to always have a UL label on it. And it wasn't until ETL came along in 1978 is when we started. We completed the process in 1988, where we were the only other recognized laboratory that could safety test products for electrical safety. So when you're buying a product, take a look and see if you see that ETL mark with a little Intertek underneath it that shows that it was electrically safety tested by us, and know that that started right here in Cortland, and now it's going on products all over the world.
So we've had one great question come in, and I know this was a question I had the first time I had the chance to tour your facilities. But when you're finished with a product, whether it passes a test or not, what happens to those products?
Go ahead, Byron.
Okay, those products are always returned to the manufacturer or they are destroyed. Some of the testing we do is slightly destructive, so the products sometimes are not good for anything anymore, and they get destroyed. But other than that, they go right back to the manufacturer.
So great question. I'm not sure which school that came from, but happy to have that. I think we've got some students in Groton who have joined us, and we've got Tim, a Groton graduate. Tim, what do you want to add about your responsibilities here with Intertek?
So my responsibilities with Intertek is the Vice President of North America. So I get to see all of our labs in the U.S. and Canada. But I will say Cortland is near and dear to my heart with my responsibilities around the world and around the North America. And what we do here in Cortland is second to none. I always say it's the best kept secret in Cortland County with what we do inside these walls. It's not something we can always talk about or always show based on confidentiality of the products. A lot of times we see products here that are, not on the market yet or before they're being able to be bought by consumers. But what our employees do here in this facility is remarkable. And you see, as you walk into other laboratories across the country, you can always relate it back to what we do here in Cortland, and that makes me proud.
Thanks, Tim. And so let me now switch to our Cortland graduate, and we've got Bernadette Sinclair here with us. And Bernadette, why don't you talk a little bit more about your responsibilities, and you can highlight some of the positions you have open.
Sure. So, hi, everyone. I am Bernadette, and I'm the Human Resources Manager for the Cortland site. And I have been here for about 4 years. And I wanted, take this opportunity to let you know that when I graduated from college, I left. I wanted to get away from the snow. But I did come back, and I was really, really excited to hear about an opportunity within Intertek. Being from Cortland County, I think that we're, like Tim said, the best kept secret in Cortland County. Not a lot of people hear the Intertek name. I think that we love to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit more and show you through the video. We were able to show you a little bit about what we do, but we would love to have you on site sometime in the future. I think being able to touch and feel things is a big part of what we do. And Byron mentioned the ETL mark on the bottom of products. So I just last week ordered an electric tea kettle, and I turned that over, and the ETL mark is on it. Mm-hmm. So that was fun to be able to show the kids that that's something that we do. But to talk about some of the areas of opportunity within this site for entry level would be like the technicians. We have 13 different departments. Mm-hmm. I think so. Yep. We do a variety of testing here, but also we have entry level sales roles available throughout the year. So a lot of opportunity. I feel like we're always hiring for or looking for good good employees, and it's great to have a tie to the community. Because I think if you are born in Cortland County, born and raised, right, you see how beautiful it is, and hopefully you want to stay here, and we have the opportunity to allow you to stay.
And let me say, as we're talking about students born and raised in Cortland, we've got a handful of students joining us from just outside the county, but we love you all.
Yeah.
You're all welcome to be with us. And a couple of follow-ups for our human resource department, the type of education needed for jobs that you have available.
So for the jobs that I spoke about, like the technicians or the sales specialists, those require a high school diploma or GED to get started.
And so a nice specific question. I love the fact that this is being asked. How would a new graduate set themselves apart from other entry-level applicants? What would you like to see in your A applicant?
I think you want to see someone who is willing to learn, willing to ask questions. A lot of times you'll see a candidate or a new employee that just kind of sits back and they're waiting to be told what to do. If you're, inquisitive and you have questions, and there's always somebody around to answer. I mean, like Byron, he's been with Intertek for so long that many times you'll probably get an answer that, answers your question plus, 15 other questions that would come to mind. I mean, the people that work here have a wealth of knowledge. So I would say the number one thing that I would look for in a candidate is someone who is willing to ask the questions.
And that's a great answer. So if you're a high school student looking to apply here, go on the Intertek website, which is going to give you a lot of information. Just what you've seen today is going to be a step up, and have those good, solid questions to show that they're truly interested in your company. So the next one could be for all of you. And we had this conversation before the video started, but talk about the culture here at Intertek. How would you describe that?
Yeah, it's the culture here in our Cortland facility is really about a team. I think that the 300 employees really work together and take pride in what we do here in Cortland specific. But yet they recognize that they're part of something bigger than just Cortland. But I think they're very prideful of what they do in Cortland and touch products that really service the globe. But so tough, hardworking individuals that really are proud of what they do here in Cortland.
Yeah, I've always thought that the work ethic of Central New York people is stronger than many places. I mean, we have tough winters. We're used to tough things. And all of our employees are extremely hardworking. And as Tim pointed out, teamwork and the willingness to be a member of a team is incredibly important when you work here. And also your communication skills as well. If you can communicate well verbally and in writing, that's also an important factor in being a good team member of this company.
And I'll say this to all of you if I haven't said it in the past, but just being with the Chamber of Commerce, we get to touch base with a lot of companies and organizations throughout the county and beyond. And I often, on other boards of directors, have come across Intertek personnel who are taking part, donating their own personal time and energy to help other nonprofit organizations. It's always greatly appreciated. I know, Byron, you've been a big part of that yourself, but other folks here that you work with that I come across. And it's always good when we see a board of directors and we see somebody from Intertek sitting there, because we know that they're bringing good things to the organization. So we still have openings and some time available if there are other questions coming. I know it's always kind of fun, and the video was able to point out some things that you don't always get a chance to see when you do the live tours through here, because the fire room and the helmet testing, and I know seeing that and thinking about those folks, fire departments who are putting their lives on the line on a regular and in a normal time for us, and seeing the testing that goes through their equipment to make sure that it's safe for them, as safe as can possibly be, right? As you're battling the fire, and what fun that is. And I know I've asked you multiple times to fire up the room for me, and sorry, that happens only at very specific times and not when Bob is here to see it. But also to, I happen to enjoy motorcycle riding, and my daughter rides a horse and wears a helmet, and I think about the testing to make sure that those pieces are safe once they've been through your facility, and how great that is. So we as a community, even though we don't know it, we appreciate what it is that you do. So a new question has come in. Do you have to take any tests to get hired or pass any type of background checks?
Yes, we do have background checks and drug screens that we have in place for all new hires.
And so talk about the importance of that and why those exist.
Well, we certainly, we want to keep everybody safe on site. So we want to make sure that you're not partaking in different substances. I think that I'm going to sort of back up a little bit here. We do not have any, I know that some companies have written tests or online testing that they do. We don't have any of that, right? It's just the background and the drug screening. But again, it's just to ensure that we keep everybody safe. We want everybody to come in here to a safe working environment.
Yeah, and completely understandable. So I know when I come into a facility that I'm safe, and I know what I've done myself in my recent past. But this is a team environment, and you've used the term, it's like a family environment. So not only do I want to make sure that I'm safe working with my coworker next to me, but I want to make sure that they're just as safe working with me. So that good peace of mind. Yeah. You mentioned the longevity of your employees, and I don't know if we want to talk about how long Byron's been here, but you can, Bernadette, give us the average longevity.
Yeah, I mean, we have employees ranging from, a year of service to 50 years of service. Like I said, because we're a big company within Cortland County, but for the most part, we're kind of a hidden gem. All of our employees, for the most part, have been here for, 15, 20, 25, 30. We just had a town hall meeting earlier today and, recognized somebody with a 35-year service award. So it varies. But I'd like to say this is a great place to work. I mean, if we can keep people around for that long, that says a lot.
And that really means multiple things to me, right? If I'm looking at an employer that has that level of commitment from employees, first of all, you hire the right people.
Yep.
So they're a good fit when they come here, and you have a good shot at them being a long-term employee. The next thing it would tell me is that there's room for advancement here. And
Absolutely.
So people who are go-getters have that opportunity. Now, some people are going to come and they're going to do a fantastic job and love what they're doing, but other people want something more and want to try new challenges. So those opportunities are going to exist for them. And the third thing that it would tell me right off the bat is that you treat people well. There are a lot of opportunities right now in today's world. Listen, there's been a pandemic and you've heard stories about unemployment increasing. But I'm sharing with you, we have 20 local companies right now hiring. So there are opportunities for these employees. So we want to treat them well because they could go other places and they're not. They're staying with Intertek.
Absolutely. And I'd like to take a minute to tell everyone that we have a fantastic tuition reimbursement program. So if you start with Intertek as a technician and you really want to be like an engineer, for example, once you have 1 year of service with Intertek, that's something that we can look into. I mean, it's a 100% reimbursement for tuition fees and books. It's really outstanding.
Okay, we've got more questions coming in. So if a student does already have plans to go to college next year but has interest, are internships an option?
Obviously, right now during COVID, internships are a really hard thing to make meaningful for the employee, right? Because we want to make sure that you walk away with a knowledge of what you're doing and not just filing papers and getting coffee. Um, so yes, that's certainly something that we will have available again, hopefully sooner rather than later.
So post-pandemic, we
Yep.
can look forward to more internships. A student from Seven Valleys has written in and wants to know how COVID has impacted the work that you do and what is different now versus non-pandemic.
So, obviously, COVID-19 has been a challenging thing to face from everybody, and from an employer here at Intertek, it's also been challenging. We've had to really get careful on our policies to be able to operate. We typically allow a lot of customers to come visit their products, and that's been a challenge too. How do we still facilitate that in an environment when people were not traveling anymore? So we've had to shift technology to allow people to video witness our testing, allowing one person, only one customer in the lab at a certain time. But I'll say the majority of our efforts have been, focused on our employees and their safety, keeping them safe and keeping them working and keeping the business going and keeping people employed. That was first and foremost. So we had to put extensive practices in place, from 100% mask wearing, as you can see from all of us here, to constant reminders of proper hygiene, washing their hands, looking at changing workspaces to be socially distanced, and following all those good practices. So I will say that we've been very successful in doing so. Our business has remained extremely strong, even through COVID-19, where you have heard some businesses that have suffered greatly. But we have remained very, very strict in our policies and procedures, what have allowed us to thrive. So.
Thank you, Tim. And I want to share, just in a general way, businesses in New York have been wonderful. They have been complimented by New York State government and by business associations because they have not been a culprit of this spread of COVID. So thank goodness for that. But what that means to me is our businesses are doing the right thing to keep the public and employees safe. And I know from our pre-event conversation today that that's true here at Intertek. You've not been insulated from having employees get COVID, but they've not contracted it here at work. So again, that shows you're doing the right things. So that's a message for you as a student, but also to take back to your parents so that they can feel comfortable if you were coming here to apply for a job soon. So this next one, I think I could even take a shot at this, but I won't, because I have had a chance to see your employees at work. But the question has to do with entry-level positions, and sometimes at some companies they're extremely repetitive positions, but they want to know what type of self-direction or creativity would an entry-level hire have. So just describe some of those types of jobs.
Byron, you might be the.
All right. Well, we do a lot of on-the-job training. I know for my particular department, it takes 3 months before you are released to go on your own, and it's pretty extensive. And the opportunity for creativity, I think, would come well after that 3 months. But the way you grow in this company really is by working hard. And if you have ideas on how to do something better or improve a process or make something more efficient, we have a management structure here that is very open to listening to ideas and implementing employees' thoughts on how to do things better. And that's something that I think is really important in any company you go to work for. You're not going to find that attitude everywhere, but here, the management is open to listening to suggestions on how to make things run smoother and better and quicker.
Yeah, and Byron, if I can add to that, I think one of the things that I'll say in my own career, I've been with Intertek for 32 years. I started as a technician. A really smart guy hired me, so I'll say Byron, but that was Byron. So, when you show up to work, you may be doing the same job every day, but what you're seeing, what you're touching, what you're doing is completely different.
Yes.
You're not typically touching the same product day in and day out. We're not a manufacturer, so it's not a manufacturing line type of a position. So I say the great thing about working here is that every day is different. You never see the same thing, particularly twice. So.
Correct. And the other thing is, with 13 different departments doing a wide variety of products, we are also a strong believer in cross-training. So there is always the opportunity of not just growing up within the company, but also moving to a different department and seeing a whole new world of products to be tested. That opportunity is there as well.
So last year I learned how to test appliances and I became the expert in refrigerators, but then I could ask for a transfer and I get to drop hammers on a dummy wearing a helmet?
Well, not exactly, but it's possible.
Close,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen that walking through. There is tremendous variety that you guys do, and that's what makes it so interesting. So Bernadette, the question came up about benefits that are available for employees.
So we have a great benefit package: medical, dental, vision, 401k, life insurance, disability insurance. Plus we have a very generous PTO policy. And outside of the PTO policy, there is holiday time, which is more paid time off. And I think it's really nice to highlight the fact that we, as a company, right, we all celebrate 8 holidays throughout the year, but Intertek gives everybody 2 floating holidays because it is important to realize that we don't all celebrate every single holiday the same time. So I think that that's a great benefit of our holiday policy.
Thank you. So part of this you've answered, but maybe a little expansion. So another Seven Valley student has asked, can you start working without college experience and talk about the type of training that you would have for an employee so that they could then move up in the company?
Well, yes, you can start working without college experience. So, for example, for a technician, like Byron had mentioned, you'll be working closely with another member of your team until they feel like you're okay on your own. And I guess this comes back to, it's really important to voice your opinion and ask questions if you're interested in something that you saw somebody doing, on the other side of the building. I mean, I think that there's not so much a corporate career ladder that you climb anymore. I think it's more of a jungle gym, and you kind of go in the direction of what works for you. And I think because we're such a large operation here in Cortland, and we have so many different opportunities within these walls. But as Byron said earlier, we are a global company.
Yeah.
So there's opportunity all over the world.
I think it comes back to, I think as you alluded to before, Bernadette, is to, once you get in, it's about asking the questions. It's about, observing and recognizing opportunities that present themselves, and self motivators, and are definitely have an advantage that see the opportunity and take it. But it is about asking questions, and make yourself known, and make your show your abilities. I think are key things of moving up.
Yeah, absolutely. Raise your hand.
So here we are at the lunch hour having this chat, and a student wanted to know about a cafeteria or a kitchen here at the facility. So maybe you can talk about non-pandemic and maybe how that's changed.
Well, we do have a cafeteria here on site. Pre-pandemic, I feel like it was always full. There were always people in there getting coffee. They do breakfast, they do lunch, snacks, vending machines. Certainly not obligated to eat on site. We have many employees that leave for lunch or eat at their desk or, outside when it's nice at a picnic table. But we do have cafeteria here on site, which is really nice.
I'll add that it's extremely good. Too. I eat there almost every day, and today is stuffed baked potato with chili. So it's really, really good.
Thanks, Byron. I'm getting hungry. So another question from Seven Valley, and thank you for Seven Valley students. You guys doing a great job with these questions. Can you, and I know this is going to be different probably in different departments, but they're asking you to try to talk about a typical day for a technician. What would that look like?
Oh boy, that is different for every department.
Go ahead.
Well, you come in and you get right to work at 8 o'clock, and your supervisor will probably have a predetermined day laid out for you with what you need to perform and complete in that day. And this is after you're fully trained, of course. You'll be either working on your own to get those tasks done, or you'll be working hand in hand with an engineer who will be working right there with you, helping you carry out those tasks. At the technician level, there's minimal report writing and data analysis. That's usually done by the engineers. But as you grow up in the company, that's exactly the kind of type of work you'll be doing. As you excel at being a technician, you'll get more involved in report writing and data analysis, and that's the way you work your way up.
Thank you, Byron. And so I love this next question. So this already sounds like a go-getter, but they're asking about options to transfer to other North American locations.
Yeah, once that's the great thing of the Intertek network. And we've had people that I'll say have transferred out of this location globally. We have an individual right now that is running our business out of the UK, United Kingdom right now, that used to work here 3 years ago. And she's an Ithaca grad, actually, high school grad. But absolutely, there's opportunities to transfer, let me say domestically within the United States. But it's a matter of applying, seeing the jobs listed on our career page and applying. As long as you are qualified, you would be given consideration to transfer.
Wow, another opportunity you're not going to see with every organization. Now, this next question, I will give it to you as it's stated because I'm not sure where it's going, but the question is day of chemical testing. I'm trying to remember if there was something in the video that referred to that.
What was that?
Day of chemical testing. I don't recall. If the person that has that question could just expand on that a little bit, we'll see if we can get you a solid answer. The day of chemical testing question. Have you ever had folks from outside of this area at another Intertek facility transfer in?
I'm sure. I'm sure.
have.
Yeah, I'm sure we have.
Probably have.
We've had individuals transfer from I'll go back to it, from other countries into Cortland, whether it's from India to come in to be an engineer to work here, and individuals from Canada, our location maybe in Toronto, come down and work in our Cortland site. So, yes.
Fun. And if you ever need help getting those guys acclimated to the area, I know you have a wonderful team here, but we're always willing to help, and we'd love to sell them a home, get their kids in our schools, and keep them.
That's great.
Absolutely.
Okay, they expanded on the question, and it is a day in the life of chemical testing.
Wow, that would be a tough one.
So I'll try to take it. So our chemists, our chemical department here in Cortland, focuses on personal protective equipment. So I think Bob alluded to testing firefighter equipment, hazmat suits, COVID masks, or masks that help prevent the spread of COVID. And so, their day looks of looking at a sample, understanding the piece of the sample that they actually have to separate from the full product. And then it would go under, they would conduct a series of tests, whether chemicals actually penetrate the personal protective gear that we'd be testing, and to make sure that it would avoid contact from the person that is wearing that piece of equipment. So that's, I'll say it's a very short summary of what our chemists, typically do. But it's here in Cortland specifically, their job is focusing on, again, keeping people safe and making sure the gear that our firefighters are wearing, our police officers, first responders, protect them and they go home safely to their families at, day or night.
Thanks, Tim. I think we're going to have time, and I've got one here waiting, but probably 2 to 3 more questions. So if we could get those lined up now. But another Seven Valleys student who is asking about your top 3 soft skills that you're looking for, Bernadette. And I know you've touched on that, but if you want to highlight maybe the top 3 soft skills.
I think that, certainly communication. Like I said before, we want somebody that's inquisitive and is willing to ask questions and raise their hand. I think empathy is another good one, because you do work as part of a team, right? So it's important to realize that, maybe Byron's having a bad day today. Maybe we know that, something is going on at home or outside of work that's making him a little off today. So I think it's important
It really does happen.
to know your environment and be able to kind of feel that. I also think that a willingness and I guess openness, right? To learn, because you may think that you know how to do your job the best way that it's being done, but somebody may have different efficiencies or I hate to say, not cutting corners, but I don't know. I think, like I said, just the willingness to listen to other people and hear what they have to say, because that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to learn.
Yeah, if I can build on that, I always look at attitude, right? Carrying that positive attitude. And I know some days it's harder than others, but always being able to keep your chin up, have a positive outlook on the day, on what you're doing, is really one of the things that I try to look at and look for.
If you guys will let me, I'm going to touch on that one right there, talking about attitude, because it's the hardest thing for us to measure, but we sure know when it's not there, right? And so I'm going to quote Michelle Brooks, the owner of Coffee Mania. So we're all fans of Coffee Mania, right? They are known locally as having top-notch customer service. And Michelle has teamed with us to provide some customer service training in the past. And ahead of that training, I said, Michelle, you have to tell me your secret. How do you do this? Because no matter what's going on, how many customers your folks have, they're the best. And she said, it's actually pretty simple, Bob. I can train a monkey how to make coffee. It's not about training them how to make coffee. It's how to find the person who has a smile on their face when they wake up in the morning, regardless of what's happening outside of work. And those are the people we bring in and train them how to make coffee.
Yeah.
Attitude. What a great thing.
Yeah, so true, because I'll say I frequent Coffee Mania every day, and there's been many a times that I have driven through there to say I would hire that person at Intertek at any time, and we do have some people that work at Coffee Mania that are working here now, and it makes me happy to see, because I know what kind of customer service and attitude that they're going to deliver to our customers, and that's really important.
So an unscheduled prompt for Coffee Mania, but Michelle and Craig, thank you for the great service that you give to us. I think at this, it looks like we have wrapped up all the questions that you have. Again, we sure appreciate the Intertek folks for opening up their facility to us, both offering it up as a live event and being here with us to do the virtual event. So Bernadette, Byron, and Tim, we appreciate your time. It's been great having you. Alex Caminetti, who is here with Alternative AV, who has provided us with the technical support today, but also the recording that we are going to get each of you the link to. So whoever was your contact person at your school will get a follow-up email from me. It will include the 20 organizations currently hiring and or looking to hire in the next 12 months. Along with a link that you can then share with all of your students in school or your remote learners at home. So with that, thank you again. to Intertek. Thank you, Alex. And especially thank you to the high schools who joined us today to learn a little bit more about Intertek and a little more about manufacturing and other entry-level positions here locally. Call us with questions. Good to see you.